Hi everyone. I don't know about you, but the weather is pants outside and I don't fancy going out for a walk and I don't fancy walking to the gym to do my cardio. So I thought I'll do a little bit of a cardio flow. So if you want to join me, let's all meet at the front of our mat. So I thought we'd do a little sun-south variation to warm up and then we'll get into our flow. So spread those toes wide, big toe mountain contact with the floor, pelvis neutral, soften the knees, arms are just dangling at the side. Just take a nice deep breath in to the sides and the back of the rib cage, nice and easy exhale. And then from here, take a nice deep breath in, float the arms all the way up. Have a lovely long stretch here, pelvis in neutral, knees are slightly soft. Slowly bring the hands through to heart center, hinging from the hips, so the hips are floating back, spine is nice and long. Fingertips to the floor, step that right foot back, right knee down, top of the right foot down, slowly come up to 90-90 kneeling lunge, reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling, have a lovely long stretch here. And then slowly plant the hands, step it back into your high plank. Shoulder blades are in neutral on the back of the rib cage, shoulders are over the wrist. Bring the knees down, keep that pelvis in neutral, gentle activation of the glutes, gentle hug into the midline. Exhale, lower down into one piece, then you'll find yourself in that baby cobra, tops of the feet, pubic bone in contact with the floor. Energetically pull back on that mat, low cobra. And then exhale, just soften back to that baby cobra, tuck the toes, push up in one piece to the knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in here, nice long easy exhale. Lower the knees to the floor, and then from here bring that right leg behind you, float the right toes off the floor, and then come into Superman. If that feels comfortable for you, left arm, right leg. Pause in here. Then bring that left hand down, step that right foot forward, keep the toes tucked, reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling, have a lovely long stretch here. Exhale, plant the hands, step that left foot forward, halfway lift, push the weight even down through both feet, hip hinge all the way up, lovely long spine. Exhale, hands through to heart as you hip hinge, step that left foot back, right foot back, coming into your high plank, shoulder blades in neutral, pelvis in neutral, knees to the floor, and lower down in one piece, and then coming into low cobra. So shoulder blades coming into the midline, gentle activation of the glutes. Slowly lower down, push up, and then hips up and back, downward facing dog. Pushing up through the arms, lengthen the armpits, relax the head and neck. And then slowly lower the knees to the floor, tabletop. Slide that left leg back, use that left glute to float the toes off the floor, square off the hips. Option to add in the right arm, Superman. So keep that gentle hug into the midline. And then bring that right hand down. Step that left foot forward, keep the right toes tucked. Kneeling lunge, reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. Have a lovely long stretch here. And then plant the hands forward, step it forward, and then hip hinge all the way up. Reach fingertips up towards the ceiling. Take a nice deep breath in here. Exhale, float the arms down to the sides of the body. Roll that right shoulder back, the left, the right, and the left. Take a nice deep breath in, and then hip hinge all the way down. Plant the hands, step, slide, downward facing dog. So pushing up through the arms, lengthen out the spine and those armpits, relax the head and neck, don't worry about the heels to the floor. Transitioning to the back of the mat. You can do this via tabletop or from downward facing dog. So bend those knees and have a little lean to one side, bring one hand back, a little lean to the other side. Slowly crawl back, heels lower, hips float back, lengthen out the spine, hip hinge all the way up, reach fingertips up towards the ceiling, have a lovely long stretch here. Exhale, hinge it forward, plant the hands, slowly walk it out. Coming into your high plank, shoulders are over the wrists, gentle activation of the glutes in your high plank. And then from here, float the right toes off the floor, float them down, left toes, float them down, soften those knees, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Maybe you need to step those feet in because your plank may be a little bit longer than your downward facing dog. Soften those knees and then let's walk it all the way back. Crawling back, hands to the feet, lengthen out the spine, weight through both feet, push down for the feet, hip hinge all the way up, reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hip hinge all the way down. Walk it out to your high plank. Option to bring the knees to the floor. There's always an option. And then let's do a right shoulder tap. So right hand taps the left shoulder, left hand taps that right shoulder. And then let's meet up in our downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice and easy exhale. Walking it back. Lengthen out that spine. Hip hinge all the way up. Guys, I've just got to take this sweat top off. Not that I'm getting hot, it's just that my hood's getting in the way. And then from here, just sort myself out. Let's hip hinge all the way forward, walking it out to high plank. Remember, you can drop to the knees, you can rest and modify anytime you need. From here, have a little roll to the left and a little roll to the right, and then slowly come into a side plank. Reaching the fingertips, stagger the feet, lifting up through those left ribs, that gentle hug in. Slowly come back to plank, and then have a little roll right side plank. Option to bring that right knee to the floor. And then slowly we'll meet up, downward facing dog. And then let's crawl it all the way back, hands to the feet, hips float back, lengthen out that spine, hip hinge all the way up. Lovely long stretch here. Heel toe the feet a little bit further apart. Mine are about shoulder width apart. And allow the hips to float back. Chair. You can come down a little bit lower, come to that lovely active squat. I've got my arms in line with my shoulders. Plant the hands, walk it out. Coming into your high plank. And then from here, let's come into side plank on the left. And then come to high plank, side plank on the right. And then from here, let's bring that right knee to the floor, left knee to the floor. And then just come into some rolling hip circles so that feels comfortable for you. And then next time the hips are by the heels, slowly change direction. Now, anytime you feel out of breath, you can come back to rolling hip circles or tabletop hip circles, or maybe you just like to come to kneeling or child's pose. So there are our moves. So we will float one foot off the floor, the other foot off the floor, shoulder tap, doesn't matter which side you start off with, soften those knees, walk it back for downward facing dog, and then we'll come back, lower into our active squat or a chair, whichever feels comfortable for you. Chair is just like a little squat. So hips are floating back, gentle hug in, weight even through both feet, arms can be wherever feel comfortable for you, and then we'll walk out into our plank. So, when you're ready, downward facing dog. Set your base, and then let's crawl it all the way back. Hips float back, gentle hug in, lengthen that spine, weight even for both feet, push down for the feet, slowly come up. So I'm going to keep my feet shoulder width apart even when I'm on a downward facing dog. So now when I'm in the active squat, walk it out, plank. And then in your plank, option to float right toes off the floor, left toes off the floor. And then from here, side plank, left, or maybe you're doing right. And then we'll come to right. And then let's come to our side plank and shoulder tap. And shoulder taps, trying to keep those hips square. And then walk it back, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, soften those knees, walk it back. So I've got my feet a little bit wider. But if that feels uncomfortable in downward dog, you can adjust your feet when you're in this halfway lift, hip hinge all the way up. And then slowly, active squat. Maybe you can come down a little bit lower, maybe not. Walk it out, plank. And then from here, once you've got your plank, shoulder blades in neutral, that gentle hug in, float the right toes off the floor, and then the left toes. And it's side plank. Doesn't matter if you're doing left or right, plank, And then from the plank, table tap, shoulder tap, and then slowly come into side plank right. And then slowly come back to plank. And then from here, just hold that plank, take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in, nice and easy exhale. And let's crawl it back. Just your feet if you need to. Hip hinge all the way up, weight even for both feet. Lower into that active squat. And then walk it out. Plank. Remember to modify if you need to. Let's come straight into side plank, right. Holding it here nice and strong. And as you exhale, plank. Straight into side plank left. And then slowly come back to plank. Shoulder taps. 1, shoulder tap for 2. Shoulder tap for 3. And then walk it up, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in, nice long easy exhale. Slowly walk it all the way back up. Hip hinge all the way up. Reach the arms up, circle out those wrists. Change direction. Give those arms a shake, give those wrists a shake. And then from here, take a nice deep breath in, slowly lower into your active squat. Slowly push all the way down, float the arms up towards the ceiling. Slowly active squat, push all the way up, mountain pose, fingertips up towards the ceiling. And active squat, slowly come up, active squat, inhale up, exhale lower, inhale up, exhale lower, pause it here, plant the hands, walk it out to your plank. And then from here, knee tuck, right knee in without rounding the upper back. Then the left, keep the shoulder blades in neutral, keep that pelvis in neutral. Just walking the knee in and out, in and out. And then from here, downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in, nice and easy exhale. And let's walk it back. Hip hinge all the way up. And then active squat. Hips are floating back, chest is open, stand back up. And lower. And up. And lower. And up. Hips float back. One more. And then walk it out. Coming into plank, just pausing here. Now you can do your knee tucks, or you can add a little hop. And downward facing dog. And walk it back out. We've got one more round. And then slowly come up. And then let's come down to our active squat. Slowly come up. And lower. And up. And lower. Inhale up. Exhale lower. Inhale up. I've lost count. Exhale lower. Inhale up. Exhale, pause it here. Plant the hands. Walk it out. Remember, knee tuck, or you can put that little hop in, mountain climbers. And downward facing dog. Slowly lower the knees to the floor. Tuck the toes, coming up to a high kneel. Roll those shoulders back. Just allowing that breath to slow down. Reach up, fingertips up towards the ceiling. Bend at the elbows. Gentle activation of the glutes, pelvis in neutral. Goddess arms. Opening out that chest. And then just slowly release. And then just come back into tabletop. Flip the palms, fingertips point towards the knees, maybe. And maybe bring the knees in a little bit closer, that feels too much. We're just stretching out our lower arms and our wrists. If it feels comfortable, you can walk the knees a little bit away from the fingertips, just depending on your range of movement, how tight your lower arms are. You can do this kneeling like so, if that feels more comfortable for you. And then from here, let's just give those wrists a shake and come into an easy cross-legged. Float the fingertips behind you, maybe your palms open at that chest. Slowly come forward, just allowing that breath to slow down. And just bring that right lower arm down to that right thigh. Just pausing here, just allowing the ear, right shoulder. Just relax, just a gentle side opening. And then slowly float up and over to the other side. And then just slowly come all the way back up. I'm just going to do a little bit of a Sophie grind, the little bit seat bone, hip circles. And then you can just close your eyes while you're doing this. Allow the breath to soften, to slow down. And then change direction. And slowly come back. Bring the hands through to heart center. Soften the shoulders and fingers. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice long easy exhale out through the mouth. Inhale, float the arms, fingertips all the way up. Have a lovely long stretch here. And as you exhale, bring the hands down through to heart center. Take a nice deep breath in. Soft easy exhale out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a little bit better than going out in all that rain. But see you soon, everyone. Take care.